stepped outside the home. Imagine a life where the pavement becomes your mattress, the dumpster your pantry, and each passing moment feels like a struggle against hopelessness. In Pennsylvania, this is the harsh reality for countless individuals trapped by homelessness, substance abuse, and neglected mental health challenges. Their experiences are not just mere numbers, they are a chilling testament to a system that has failed its most fragile members. This is the untold story behind the surging crisis of homelessness. It's more dire than you can imagine. Welcome Globe Path, where we uncover stories that matter, untold truths, and the hidden realities shaping our world. Today, we journey into a site of Pennsylvania that few dare to explore, a growing homelessness crisis that speaks to human resilience, but also reveals the struggles of addiction, untreated mental health issues, and survival on the streets. This is more than a documentary. It's an eye-opening path of discovery into lives often overlooked. If you want to continue exploring such impactful stories with us, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to World Discovery Path. Your support helps us bring more stories to light, daily life of the homeless in Pennsylvania. On any given night, over 14,000 individuals in Pennsylvania face the harsh reality of homelessness. Their lives are marked by constant struggles for survival with no permanent shelter to call home. Many sleep on footpaths, under bridges, or in makeshift shelters constructed from cardboard tarpaulin or discarded materials. These fragile structures offer little protection against the elements, leaving them vulnerable to extreme weather conditions, from freezing winters to scorching. Summer's hunger is a relentless challenge, with limited access to food. Many homeless individuals resort to scavenging through dumpsters, behind restaurants and grocery stores, hoping to find discarded scraps. This form of survival is not only physically taxing, but also emotionally degrading, as they are forced to rely on waste to sustain themselves. Food insecurity is a daily battle, and the lack of proper nutrition further exacerbates their health issues. Access to hygiene and sanitation is another uphill struggle. Public restrooms, often miles away, become their only option for basic hygiene for those unable to reach these facilities. The lack of access forces them to make do in open spaces, leading to further indignity and health risks. The absence of clean water and sanitation facilities contributes to the spread of diseases and worsens their living conditions beyond the physical challenges the homeless population faces. Societal indifference and stigma. Each passing day chips away at their dignity, as they are often ignored or judged by those around them. This isolation and lack of support create a cycle of despair, making it increasingly difficult for them to escape their circumstances. The daily life of the homeless in Pennsylvania is a stark reminder of the urgent need for systemic change and compassionate intervention. Their struggles highlight the importance of addressing the root causes of homelessness and providing resources to help them rebuild their lives. Drug addiction among the homeless in Pennsylvania, substance abuse, is both a cause and a consequence of homelessness, creating a vicious cycle that is difficult to break. In Pennsylvania, nearly 26% of the homeless population struggles with drug addiction, a statistic that underscores the severity of this crisis. For many, addiction begins as a coping mechanism, a way to numb the pain of living on the streets, escape the harsh realities of homelessness, or deal with untreated mental health issues. However, this temporary relief often spirals into dependency, further entrenching individuals in their circumstances. Opioids and methamphetamine. Opioids, including heroin and fentanyl, are among the most commonly abused substances within the homeless community. The opioid crisis has hit Pennsylvania particularly hard, with areas like Kensington and Philadelphia becoming infamous for their open-air drug markets. Here, AD is not just prevalent. It is visible with individuals openly using substances in public spaces. Methamphetamine use is also alarmingly common, offering a cheap and potent high that many turn to in moments of desperation. The cycle of addiction and homelessness. Addiction often leads to homelessness, as individuals struggling with substance abuse may lose their jobs, exhaust their financial resources, or become estranged from their fames. Conversely, homelessness exacerbates addiction as the stress, isolation, and lack of support drive many to seek solace in drugs or alcohol. This cycle is further perpetuated by the lack of access to treatment facilities. Affordable health, care and rehabilitation programs. Health and safety risks. The health risks associated with substance abuse are compounded for homeless individuals. Sharing needles increases the risk of diseases like HIV and hepatitis, while overdoses are tragically common due to the unregulated nature of street drugs. Homeless individuals are also 9 times more likely to die from an opioid overdose compared to the general population. The lack of stable housing and medical care makes recovery even more challenging, leaving many trapped in a dangerous and destructive pattern. Community impact. The prevalence of drug addiction among the homeless population has far-reaching effects on communities. Public spaces, such as parks and sidewalks, often become sites of drug use, leading to safety concerns and stigmatization of the homeless. Efforts to address this issue require a delicate balance of compassion and enforcement, as well as significant investment in resources and support systems. Addressing the crisis, organizations and initiatives across Pennsylvania are working to combat this crisis. Programs focused on harm reduction, such as needle exchange services and overdose prevention education, aim to reduce the immediate risks associated with drug use. Long-term solutions, including access to affordable housing, mental health services, and comprehensive addiction treatment, are essential to breaking the cycle of homelessness and substance abuse. Mental health crisis among the homeless in Pennsylvania. Mental health issues represent a silent epidemic within Pennsylvania's homeless population, deeply intertwined with the challenges of homelessness itself. Over 30% of the homeless population in the state suffers from severe mental health conditions, including depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and untreated psychosis. These conditions are both a cause and a consequence of homelessness, creating a cycle that is difficult to break. The struggles of mental illness. For many individuals, mental health challenges begin long before they lose their homes. Traumatic life events, such as abuse, DOMS, violence, or the loss of a loved one, often trigger or exacerbate these conditions without access to adequate mental health care. These individuals are left to cope on their own, which can lead to job loss, strained relationships, and eventually homelessness. Once on the streets, the stress of survival, exposure to violence, and lack of stability further deteriorate. Their mental health barriers to treatment, access to mental health care, remains a significant challenge for the homeless population. Many lack health insurance or the financial means to afford therapy or medication. Public mental health services are often overwhelmed with long waiting lists and limited resources. Additionally, the stigma surrounding mental illness discourages many from seeking help, leaving their conditions untreated and worsening over time. The impact of isolation. Homeless individuals with mental health issues often face social isolation, as their conditions can make it difficult to form or maintain relationships. This isolation is compounded by societal stigma, which views homelessness and mental illness through a lens of judgment rather than compassion. As a result, many feel invisible and abandoned, further deepening their sense of despair. The need for comprehensive solutions. Addressing the mental health crisis among the homeless requires a multifaceted approach. This includes increasing funding for mental health services, expanding access to affordable housing, and providing integrated care that addresses both mental health and homelessness simultaneously. Community-based programs such as mobile crisis units and outreach teams have shown promise in reaching those who are most vulnerable. The mental health crisis among Pennsylvania's homeless population is a stark reminder of the urgent need for systemic change. By addressing the root causes and providing compassionate care, we can help break the cycle and restore hope to those who need it most. Root causes and systemic issues of homelessness in Pennsylvania. The homelessness crisis in Pennsylvania is deeply rooted in systemic challenges that have developed over decades. This issue is not merely the result of individual circumstances, but a combination of economic, social, and policy-related factors that have left thousands vulnerable. Rising housing costs. The cost of housing in Pennsylvania has steadily increased, outpacing wage growth. For many residents, affordable housing options are scarce, and rental prices in urban areas like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh have surged for low-income families and individuals. This means spending a significant portion of their income on rent, leaving little for other necessities when unexpected expenses arise, such as medical bills or job loss. Many find themselves unable to keep up with payments, ultimately leading to eviction and homelessness, stagnant way, and economic instability. While housing costs have risen, wages for many workers have remained stagnant. This disparity has widened the gap between income and living expenses, pushing more people into financial instability. The economic fallout from events like the COVID-19 pandemic further exacerbated this issue with job losses and reduced work hours, leaving many unable to afford basic needs. Lack of affordable health care costs in the United States, including Pennsylvania, are among the highest in the world. For those living paycheck to paycheck, a medical emergency can quickly deplete savings and lead to financial ruin. The lack of affordable health care also means that many individuals with chronic illnesses or disabilities are unable to access the treatment they need, further complicating their ability to maintain stable housing. Insufficient support systems. Despite efforts to address homelessness, such as the $6 million Emergency Solutions grants issued in 2025, the demand for resources far exceeds the supply. Shelters are often overcrowded, and funding for programs aimed at preventing homelessness is limited. Additionally, systemic barriers such as bureaucratic red tape and eligibility requirements prevent many from accessing the help they need. Systemic inequalities. Structural inequalities, including racial and socioeconomic disparities, play a significant role, and homelessness. Marginalized communities are disproportionately affected, facing higher rates of poverty and unemployment. These systemic issues create additional hurdles for individuals trying to escape homelessness. The need for comprehensive solutions. Addressing the root causes of homelessness requires a multifaceted approach. This includes increasing funding for affordable housing, implementing policies to raise wages, expanding access to health care, and improving the efficiency of support systems. Without systemic change, the cycle of homelessness will continue to persist. The homelessness crisis in Pennsylvania is a stark reminder of the urgent need for collective action and policy reform. By addressing these root causes, we can work towards creating a society where everyone has access to stable housing and the opportunity to thrive. Hope and solutions for homelessness in Pennsylvania. Amidst the growing homelessness crisis in Pennsylvania, there are glimmers of hope as individuals, organizations, and communities come together to make a difference. These efforts, though not yet sufficient to address the full scale of the problem, are vital steps toward creating meaningful change. Organizations making an impact, nonprofit Organizations like Project H have been at the forefront of combating homelessness in Pennsylvania. They provide essential services such as food, shelter, and health care to those in need. Project H also focuses on long-term solutions by offering affordable housing and job training programs, helping individuals rebuild their lives and regain independence. Community volunteers and grassroots movements across the state community. Volunteers are stepping up to support the homeless population, from distributing meals to organizing clothing. Drives these grassroots efforts play a crucial role in addressing immediate needs. Local churches, schools, and neighborhood groups are also contributing by creating safe spaces and offering resources for those experiencing homelessness, job training, and employment programs. Initiatives aimed at providing job training and employment opportunities are helping individuals transition out of homelessness programs. Like these, equip participants with skills that increase their employability, enabling them to secure stable jobs and achieve financial independence. These efforts not only benefit individuals, but also strengthen the local economy. Addiction recovery centers, given the strong link between homelessness and substance abuse. Addiction recovery centers are an essential part of the solution. These centers offer counseling, rehabilitation, and support services to help individuals overcome addiction and regain control of their lives by addressing the root causes of homelessness. These programs contribute to breaking the cycle of despair, advocacy, and policy change. Awareness and advocacy are critical in driving systemic change efforts to raise public awareness about homelessness, help reduce stigma, and encourage community support on a policy level. Initiatives like the $6 million Emergency Solutions Grants issued in 2025 are providing much-needed funding to shelters and support programs. However, sustained advocacy is needed to push for comprehensive housing policies, increased funding for mental health services, and expanded access to affordable health care. The role of collective action. While these efforts are making a difference, the scale of the problem requires collective action. Collaboration between government agencies, nonprofits, businesses, and individuals is essential to create lasting solutions. By working together, we can address the root causes of homelessness and build a society where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. The homelessness crisis in Pennsylvania is a glaring reminder of the challenges we face. As a society, challenges that transcend state lines and touch the very core of our humanity. The individual UAL living without shelter are not faceless statistics. They are people with aspirations, stories, and resilience that deserve recognition and respect. Now is the time to stand together and take meaningful action. Let's demand comprehensive policies that address housing, affordability, mental health care, and addiction recovery. Let's amplify the efforts of local organizations and volunteers who are working tirelessly to provide food, shelter, and hope. And most importantly, let's extend compassion to those who need it most. This is not just about Pennsylvania. It's about the kind of world we want to build, one where dignity and opportunity are within reach, for all the time to act is today. Before the situation worsens and more lives are affected, together, we can be the change that makes a difference. Homelessness has reached alarming levels across 10 countries in 2025, with millions of individuals struggling to find stable housing. This crisis is fueled by skyrocketing housing costs, unemployment, and insufficient wages, leaving families and individuals vulnerable to life on the streets. Urban centers in these countries are grappling with overwhelmed shelters, scarce resources, and a growing divide between prosperity and poverty. The stories of resilience and hardship in these regions are as heartbreaking as they are inspiring. Welcome to Globe Path, a travel documentary exploring the hidden challenges and untold stories shaping urban landscapes. Join us on this journey to uncover the realities often hidden behind glittering skylines. What you'll discover might just change how you see your city and the world forever. Number 10. Las Vegas, Nevada. The city of lights, the streets of anguish. Las Vegas, the city of glitz, high-stakes gambling and opulent resorts, hides a stark reality that visitors rarely glimpse. Beneath the dazzling neon glow, thousands endure hardship, caught in the grip of the city's hidden homelessness crisis. With over 6,500 homeless individuals, Las Vegas ranks among the highest in homelessness rates per capita nationwide. But the most unsettling truth? Many of them aren't living on the streets. They're living beneath them, the Sin City tunnels. An overlooked realm. Under the glamorous Strip, an extensive labyrinth of underground flood tunnels has become a sanctuary for approximately 1,500 homeless individuals. In perpetual darkness, surrounded by squalor and risk, they construct temporary shelters, striving to survive in a city that barely acknowledges their plight. Las Vegas thrives on excess, and for many, that excess culminates in devastation. People flock to this city chasing dreams of wealth, only to lose everything at the casinos. Gambling addiction, compounded by substance abuse, has torn apart lives, leaving many stranded without hope. Although the city's economy thrives on tourism and hospitality, these sectors are unforgiving, offering meager wages, unstable employment, and minimal social safety nets. One stroke of bad luck, a job loss, an unexpected medical expense, and individuals find themselves homeless, forsaken by the very city they helped shape. So while visitors gamble away fortunes and sip luxury cocktails in high-rise suites, mere blocks away, lives unravel as people lose their stability, their sanity, and their futures. And here's the shocking part. Las Vegas is far from being the most troubling city on this list. Stay with me as we uncover a crisis even deeper than this number 9 Phoenix, Arizona Phoenix, known for its booming economy, luxury resorts, and endless sunshine, is now facing a homelessness nightmare that's spiraling out of control. The city has over 10,000 homeless people, and this number has doubled in just a few years. But what's worse? Many of these people once had stable jobs, but were pushed onto the streets by skyrocketing rents and a failing support system. The cost of living in Phoenix has exploded by over 50%, making housing impossible for thousands. And then, there's the deadly combination of extreme heat and addiction. With temperatures soaring above 110 degrees Fahrenheit, 43 degrees Celsius in the summer, dozens of people die from heat stroke every year. At the same time, drug and alcohol abuse is consuming lives as cheap meth and excessive drinking push many deeper into despair. In downtown Phoenix, an area called The Zone has become a modern-day slum where tents stretch for blocks, crime is rampant, and survival is a daily struggle. So why is one of America's fastest-growing cities failing its people so badly? And which city on this list has it even worse? Stay with me to find out. Number 8. Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C., the political heartbeat of America, is a city of extremes, power, and privilege on one side, poverty and homelessness on the other. While world leaders discuss policies in grand buildings, thousands of homeless individuals struggle to survive just blocks away. One major reason for DC's homelessness crisis is its brutal housing market. The city has some of the highest rent prices in the country, with a typical one-bedroom apartment costing over $2,500 per month. Even middle-class workers struggle to keep up, leaving those in low-wage jobs at serious risk of displacement. Another shocking issue? The growing number of homeless families. Unlike other cities where homelessness mainly affects individuals, DC has one of the highest rates of homeless children and families in the U.S. Many are single mothers who lost jobs or escaped domestic violence, only to find there are not enough shelters to help them. Despite government funding for homelessness programs, bureaucratic inefficiency and corruption have left many people without real assistance. Shelters are overcrowded, and temporary housing programs are often mismanaged, leaving thousands trapped in a cycle of poverty. In a city where laws are made to govern the entire nation, why can't the government solve the crisis in its own backyard? And which city on this list is suffering even more? Stay with me to find out. Number 7. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Philadelphia, the city of history, culture, and resilience. Home to the Liberty Bell, Independence Hall, and legendary cheesesteaks, it's a place that played a crucial role in the birth of the United States. But today, the streets of Philly tell a different story, one of despair, addiction, and homelessness. With over 5,700 people experiencing homelessness, Philly has one of the highest rates in the country. But what makes it even worse? The city has been called the epicenter of America's opioid crisis. Neighborhoods like Kensington Avenue have turned into open-air drug markets, where thousands of people struggle with heroin and fentanyl addiction. Some homeless individuals spend their days slumped over on sidewalks, while others wander the streets in search of their next fix. And despite efforts to clean up the area, the problem just keeps getting worse. But drugs aren't the only issue. Affordable housing is disappearing, and even people with full-time jobs are struggling to keep a roof over their heads. Rent prices have increased by nearly 40% in the last decade, making it nearly impossible for low-income workers to find stable housing. So how did Philadelphia, a city once known for its brotherly love, become a place where thousands are left to suffer? And which city on this list is facing an even bigger crisis? Stay with me to find out. Number 6. Chicago, Illinois. Chicago, a city of stunning skyscrapers, deep dish pizza, and vibrant culture. But behind the beauty, tens of thousands are struggling to survive. With over 68,000 people experiencing homelessness, Chicago's crisis is unique. Many aren't on the streets, but living in cars, shelters, or couch surfing. Families, students, and even full-time workers are barely holding on. And when winter comes, it turns deadly. Sub-zero temperatures force people into train stations and tunnels, yet every year, lives are lost to the cold. The biggest reason? Vanishing jobs and skyrocketing rent. More people are just one paycheck away from losing everything. So how did one of America's most iconic cities end up here? And which city is facing an even worse crisis? Stay tuned to find out. Number 6. Portland, Oregon. Portland, a city once known for its lush greenery, coffee culture, and artistic vibe. But today, it's making headlines for all the wrong reasons. With over 6,200 people experiencing homelessness, Portland has one of the highest rates in the U.S. But what makes it even more shocking? Tents line the sidewalks, parks have turned into makeshift camps, and entire neighborhoods are struggling to cope. The biggest culprit? Skyrocketing housing costs. Rent in Portland has jumped nearly 40% in the last decade, forcing thousands onto the streets. And with lax drug laws, hard substances are easier to find than a job, making recovery nearly impossible for many. The city tried to fix the problem by decriminalizing small amounts of drugs, hoping to help people instead of punishing them. But it backfired. Instead of reducing addiction, open drug use is now a daily sight downtown. So how did Portland go from a thriving, progressive city to one of the worst hit by homelessness? And which city on this list is even worse? Stay tuned to find out. Number 4. Seattle, Washington, Seattle. A city of tech giants, stunning waterfronts, and iconic coffee culture. But beneath the success, homelessness is spiraling out of control. Over 13,000 people are without stable housing, and the city's streets are filled with tent encampments, makeshift shelters, and struggling families. The main reason? Soaring rent and low wages. Even with a booming economy, many can't afford to live in the city they work in. Efforts to fix the crisis have failed. Drug addiction, lack of mental health services, and sky-high living costs continue to push people onto the streets. And with constant rain and freezing winters, survival is a daily battle. So what went wrong? And which city is suffering even more? Keep watching to find out. Number 3. New York City, New York, New York. The city of bright lights, endless opportunities, and towering skyscrapers. But beyond the glamour, a crisis is unfolding. With over 80,000 people experiencing homelessness, NYC has the largest unhoused population in America. Families sleep in shelters, while entire blocks in Manhattan and Brooklyn are lined with makeshift tents. Even working professionals struggle to afford a place to live, as rent prices continue to skyrocket. The biggest shock? Nearly 1 in 5 homeless New Yorkers is a child. Despite the city's wealth, thousands of families have nowhere to go. So why is this happening in America's richest city? And which place on this list is facing an even bigger disaster? Stay tuned. Number 2. San Francisco, California, San Francisco. A city of Golden Gate views, tech billionaires, and world-class dining. But beneath the success, a growing crisis is impossible to ignore. With over 8,300 people experiencing homelessness, entire streets are lined with tents, and open drug use is a daily reality. The biggest culprit? Skyrocketing rent. With an average rent of $3,300 per month, even middle-class workers struggle to afford housing. The irony? This is one of the richest cities in the world. Yet thousands sleep on sidewalks just steps away from luxury condos and Michelin-star restaurants. So how did San Francisco reach this point? And which city on this list has it even worse? Stay tuned. Number 1. Los Angeles, California. Los Angeles, the city of Hollywood dreams, palm trees, and endless sunshine. But for over 75,000 people, it's a city of nightmares. From Venice Beach to Skid Row, entire streets have turned into makeshift encampments. Luxury apartments stand just blocks away from rows of tents, abandoned shopping carts, and people struggling to survive. The crisis here isn't just bad, it's the worst in the country. Why? Sky-high rent, lack of affordable housing, and a mental health crisis spiraling out of control. The cost of living has pushed even full-time workers onto the streets, while the city's attempts to fix the problem have only made it worse. And the most shocking part? LA spends over $1 billion a year on homelessness programs. Yet, the crisis continues to grow. So what went wrong? And is there any hope for America's biggest cities? The answers might surprise you. The world's major cities are changing, and not in the way we'd hope. Homelessness is on the rise, rents are becoming unaffordable, and entire communities are being pushed to the brink. What do you think? Can this growing crisis be solved, or are we heading toward an even bleaker reality? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. For more gripping insights into the world's most pressing challenges, make sure to subscribe to Globe Path. Don't forget to hit the like button and share this video to spread awareness. Together, we can uncover the truths that shape our